is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made! Touchdown, Oregon!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's a busy day. Oregon Football Coaches Show coming up tonight. Dan Lanning, and we were going to have Casey Rogers. He actually has class tonight. True story. Grad school, he's got class, which means that we're pivoting to another defensive lineman, and Taki Taimani. Taki Taimani will join us on the Oregon Football Coaches Show tonight. Taki is a bit of a homecoming for him this week. He's from Salt Lake City. We'll talk with him about that. These have been some great matchups between Oregon and Utah. We'll get into all of that coming up in just a little while. Some big news, though, for Oregon football in a moment. Also, head coach Dan Lanning will be with us in just a minute because he actually talked to the media after practice. That'll kick off today's show, and he'll be with Jerry and Jorgie here in the Country Financial Studio tonight for the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you're tuning in across the Oregon Sports Network, if you're watching the show live in the 1 o'clock hour right now on the GoDucks YouTube, it's going to be there at 7 o'clock tonight as well. Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com, will be with us too. But this is some pretty cool news, everybody. The National Football Foundation and the College Football Hall of Fame has announced that Oregon quarterback Bo Nix is one of 16 finalists for the prestigious William V. Campbell Trophy. This is college football's premier scholar-athlete award that annually recognizes an individual as the absolute best in the nation for his combined academic success, football performance, and exemplary leadership. The 16 finalists were selected from a record number of 201 semifinalists nationwide. Each finalist will receive an $18,000 postgraduate scholarship as a member of the 2023 NFF National Scholar Athlete class presented by Fidelity Investments. The winner of the 34th Campbell Trophy, which we all have referred to it. I don't know honestly when this moniker became a thing, but ever since Justin Herbert won the award, we've always talked about that it's the academic Heisman. That's what this thing means. It's the academic Heisman. It will be presented on December 5th, and the postgraduate scholarship will increase to $25,000, whoever wins the Campbell Trophy. Nix is the 4th Campbell Trophy finalist in program history. Bill Musgrave, Dennis Dixon, and Justin Herbert, all quarterbacks, also the Campbell Trophy finalists. And then, of course, Justin Herbert won the award in 2019, the 30th annual Campbell Trophy. He has been one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, just broke a record for starts as a quarterback at the FBS level in a career. His numbers have been outstanding on the field, but he's also a graduate of Auburn in 2021, and he graduated magna cum laude, Bo Nix did. He's got a GPA that's approaching 4.0, and he was a 3-year captain, 2 years at Oregon and 1 year at Auburn. In the community, he's donating $100 of his own money for every touchdown he's involved in to support the ALS Foundation. Something that was near and dear to his heart. He's had people that are close to him be impacted by ALS, so he wanted to make a difference. He wanted to inspire, he said on the Coaches Show when he was with us, he wanted to inspire others to donate to that cause. He's very active in the community. He actually was involved in the first ever Cleat Crew program to raise support for Peace Health Sacred Heart in Eugene. And then that ALS Association of Oregon donation has already been, ballooning in funds with his contributions. So to Bo Nix, congratulations, a finalist for the prestigious Campbell Trophy, the academic Heisman. Well done, Bo. Well done. And I'm hoping that we might be talking about the second ever winner in the history of the Oregon football program. Dan Lanning meeting with the media today, getting ready for an Oregon-Utah matchup that figures to be a good one. The last few rounds against the Utes have been interesting. Last year, a banged-up Bo Nix led the Ducks to victory, a 20-17 win in 2022 in late November. In 2021, Utah got the better end of both matchups, one of them in the Pac-12 championship game. That was after the Ducks didn't play the Utes in 2020. In 2019, Oregon won 37-15. The Ducks have won 6 of the last 10 meetings. And actually, not very many of them have been that close. Listen to this. In 2018, it was 32-25 Utes, pretty close game. But in 2017, 41-20. And in 2016, 30-28, one of the few close ones. But then 62-20 Utah in 2016. In 2014, it was 51-27 Utes. And then it was 44-21 Ducks in 2013. Fox put together the graphic that I was referencing, and it's amazing that only a handful of these last 10 games have actually been close. But last year was close, and some of the best ones have been close between Oregon and Utah. This has been quite the matchup over the Pac-12 era in the last 10 meetings. Dan Lanning, after practice today, the Duck football head coach, he met with the media. It's brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Here's Coach Lanning today.
All right, another step towards game day. Good prep today. Still got plenty of work to clean up, obviously, when you're playing a good team.
What's your reaction and thoughts to the news of Michigan in-person scouting here last year, and who knows even about this year?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of really thoughts on it. I haven't been focused on it that much. I mean, ultimately, I think that'll all sort itself out.
Reportedly happened in the 21 SEC championship game, too. Anything in the Orange Bowl stand out to you from?
I just remember the result of that game.
Support and helmet communication going forward?
Yeah.
How would it help defensively and offensively for all this stuff?
I mean, I haven't been in the NFL, so I can't speak to how that works necessarily. I'm sure that would help from a signal standpoint. Ultimately, you're still going to have signals that you communicate with each other. Even if one person's on the field getting the call, somehow they're going to have to relay the call to everybody else, unless we're going to go out of a huddle every snap, which is probably not the reality in college football.
Is part of this why, like, you guys don't do walkthroughs at road stadiums just because of integrity of stuff, and why coaches are just paranoid by nature, Dan, because of situations like this?
I think everybody's always aware of when they're traveling on the road, where they go, and what they do. I think it's your job to make sure that you protect your team.
Last week on Monday and Tuesday, we talked about the intensity levels of practice being up. Just what have they looked like through this week?
Yeah, we've had good practices, but we have to finish the week off with some great practices as well. But I think our guys are really focused on what it takes to be successful in this game.
Said on Monday, you guys kind of simplified third down for the defense a little bit. How did the rest of the week go just in third down situations for practice?
Talking about this week?
Yeah.
I have to go watch the film. Today was our third down day, so I think we did some stuff well, but we'll have to go see what it looks like.
Said all year that you can focus on getting better on the road and finishing on the road. Do you think you've seen steps towards that direction this week?
We'll find out this weekend, right? I don't know that you ever know until the bullets start to fly. So at times we played really well on the road. At times we could have certainly played better. I still don't think we played a complete game there, so this will be one that is required.
The fire drill today, I think that was the first time we as the media saw that. Is that something that's a common occurrence during practices?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you want to try to create game-like situations, so that happens, pretty frequently for us.
What did last year's game, and just amid a chaotic week of Bo being out, and what did winning that one that way and him running on the very last play after being so limited, what did that mean to you as a coach?
It was a big win. I mean, it's a big win. It's a tough game. I think we had a resilient team. That game, takeaways really showed up. You saw how close the game was there at the end. Us getting the ball out, that really mattered. Us protecting the ball really mattered for us in that game.
Are there any similarities between prepping for Stanford with their two quarterbacks as Utah?
Yeah, some, but they're definitely different teams. This team certainly has an identity. They're playing at a really, really high level. I think it's going to require great execution against these guys. They do a lot of things really, really well.
What do you think the run game has been so explosive between the 40s? I mean, you guys were really good at it last year, but now it's like it's off the charts.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much about field zone. But I think that we've been able to apply a good amount of tempo that can lead to explosive plays. But I don't know that's really so much about where we're at on the field as much as how we've executed and us getting, we've had some good in-game adjustments to adjust for our run game this year. I think that's been really good from our coaching staff, and our players have done a good job of executing that.
What are your thoughts on the tight end room as a whole, Dan, but in particular Terrence, but go back to the spring and the room had lost a couple of bodies, and it was a little uncertainty as to how deep it was. And now you're going out there with a true 14 personnel set last week. Just what have you seen from the group on the season, and Terrence in particular?
Yeah, we have a great group of tight ends that execute at a high level. They, like I said before, they're a really selfless group, and that shows up on the field. But when they get an opportunity to block, they block hard, right? You saw several moments like that this past week. Terrence has been really consistent through his play, and he's gotten better and better every single year. I think that's still showing up for him.
What do you make of the job that Nico's done splitting time outside and inside for you guys? And just how difficult is it to do that for a guy first year in the program?
Yeah, we ask a lot of players to play multiple positions and, fit where they're needed. And when Nico's been in, he's done a good job of competing at a really high level.
What makes him kind of uniquely equipped from a physical standpoint to do that?
Yeah, I think his cover skills. I mean, he does a good job of being able to be on top of people, getting his hands on people. He's more physical at the line than people realize. And he just does a good job in and out of breaks.
Why is Taishim a good matchup for those slot receivers, those tight ends in particular? We've seen him matched up with guys where he's given up almost a foot in some cases and still matches up quite well. What is it about him that makes him a good matchup?
He's a physical player. I mean, I think he's also, allows us to have the ability to fit him in the run game as well, where he can fit in runs. But he gets his hands on people, right? And it's a lot harder to run routes when somebody has their hands on you. He does a good job of that.
That's Dan Lanning, Duck football head coach, brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. When we come back, Rob Mosley's with us, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. He snuck in the back door, and now he's gone again. Rob's going to be back here in a bit. See ya on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack and Rob Mosley now with us in the Country Financial Studio. He's the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. Alex Stimson did not clap for him. God, the fact that we've got Stimson in here at the same time as Rob on Wednesdays really makes for a fun dynamic. How are you, man? Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
To have, like, for me, I like to make eye contact. You know, look at you. But then to have kind of him just sort of lurking back there. Seems like kind of a troll job.
You know, I never thought about the fact that he's in your eye line when we put his desk there.
Yeah. Luckily, usually it's his best side. Yeah. When on the rare occasion he's actually working.
Wow. Woo! I did not know. God, Wednesdays are so much fun. You know, I don't even remember why I asked if like Wednesday could be your day years ago, but I'm really glad that you're what gets us over the hump.
Yeah.
It's really been good for everybody.
Happy to be here for you. I'm a team player.
Yeah. It takes a village, Rob.
It does.
It takes a village.
I'm a me guy.
No, you're not.
I mean, not a me guy.
Yeah, you're
the opposite.
You're a
we
guy.
I was thinking, what's the opposite of I guy? And then I said me guy, which is like the same thing.
Yeah.
I do words for a living.
Yes, you are the wordsmith.
Yeah.
As we have discussed. Hey, football season.
Yes.
So I was talking about this to start the show, Rob. 6 of the last 10 in this matchup have gone Oregon's way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's odd to me.
It doesn't feel like that.
I know. And it's odd to me that a lot of them actually have not been close games. Yeah. Last year was a close game. 2016 was a close game. 2018 was a close game. But other than that, in the last 10, these matchups between Oregon and Utah have really been kind of lopsided. I think this has been one of the better matchups for Oregon the last, really in the Pac-12 era.
Oh, for sure. Like in terms of the competitiveness of the series, no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, it just speaks to the job that Whittingham has done there, and it's funny when Noah Whittington came here, I was like, don't call Noah Whittingham, and now I'm like, don't call. I'm so used to Whittington, don't call Whittingham Whittington. Yeah,
you do words for a living.
Exactly. Yeah. Easily confused, this guy right here.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that it just speaks to the job he's done, the program he's built. They are truly, one of the elite programs in this conference the last decade, whatever. And so that's reflected in those matchups for sure.
And certainly Oregon has been at that level too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's what this tells you when the Ducks are 6-4 against an opponent. I've been saying this too, Rob. Like there was a period there, we've talked about this, where it was either Oregon or Stanford, and there was anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, now it's kind of lately been like Oregon, Utah, and then USC's lurked, and Utah, USC last week, big game. I mean, but
Washington's coming on.
Coming on. Like it has kind of been that way the last few years, though, where this matchup has a large bearing on the Pac-12.
Well, and I think what changed too is when Willie Taggart came on and just really started preaching to bigger, tougher, more physical team, and then obviously Mario Cristobal took that to just the nth degree.
Right.
You had a league that was kind of probably overgeneralized as sort of a finesse league, and Utah was kind of the team that zigged when everybody else was zagging in that regard, and really physical. But then when Mario Cristobal came to Oregon, obviously that became kind of the tone he wanted to set with his team, and so those Oregon-Utah games were like, Casey Rogers said yesterday, I mean, it's as close to a Big Ten game as you're going to get. And it's felt like that, I think, in this matchup the last few years, too. So that's made it different, too, that it was just two teams that kind of prided themselves on play in the trenches at a different level than maybe the league was sort of, again, overgeneralized for. But, there's some truth in that, too.
There's a good point there, though. Like, I'll never forget this.
Did I make a good point?
You always do. So, friend of the program, George Schroeder.
Yes.
Okay. I will never forget that after the Ohio State National Championship matchup, what his column was, national column, right? And it was about, like, that exact point.
Which one?
So his point was
in 10 or 14?
After the 14 title
Okay,
game.
got it.
So the 14 seasons title game. So I remember the point was, like, the Pac-12 has had this.
Or not 10. Wasn't there? Oh, Ohio State was the Rose Bowl in 09. That's why I was getting confused. My bad. Okay, yeah.
There's been a few Rose Bowl and
sorry.
championship matchups with Ohio
bad.
State.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. See, I'm going to mess that up now.
Yeah,
too.
my bad.
Anyway, the point being.
I am off my game today.
Are you?
I am.
I thought your Quack Minute was good.
All right.
I thought we did well on the Quack Minute.
Maybe I just shot all my bullets. I need a Mountain Dew, yeah.
Do you need? There's some in there.
Yeah.
You need some caffeine?
No.
All right.
Maybe that's it, because I had another coffee after football.
So you overdid
practice.
It.
Yeah.
Too much caffeine.
Might be racing a little too fast in here.
Anyway.
Slow it down for me.
Okay. After the last time Oregon played in the national championship game.
Yes.
I remember
following.
I remember that George Schroeder wrote about how, like, fair or not, the Pac-12 has this identity.
Right.
As just sort of like I will call you this, as a Oregon and in a lot of ways a Pac-12 historian. How do you feel about that perception? Because I agree with you. I think that it is an overgeneralization, and I don't really know where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, you and I work in – I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole for hours on this. I mean, you and I work in kind of the narrative business,
Sure.
I mean, we establish narratives. We try to refute narratives. But I think one thing, everybody can agree on is that narratives, once they become entrenched, are really hard
like
to
a stereotype.
to break down and reverse. And so, I think this league to the end is fighting that, and
but how did it
even
start?
now? Oh, I think, you think about the West Coast offense, you think of, Bill Walsh, back in the day, and kind of, the Hawaii teams that would chuck it all over the place, and the quarterback play that's been in this league, the guys at Stanford and USC and, even Oregon over the years. These bits and pieces are taken kind of out of context and just sort of slapped together, and suddenly that's just how you're known, how you're labeled. And certainly I think all of us recognize that, particularly defensive linemen, a lot of come from the same part of the country,
right?
And it ain't out here.
Right.
So, again, as to your point, there's some truth in some of that stuff too, and then some of it just becomes narrative that kind of, that snowball gets rolling downhill and just picks up speed, and you're not going to stop it. So, and unfortunately, it's not something that only exists in the minds of fans and analysts and things like that. Because when stuff like that trickles down to recruits, then it's like, hey, maybe I don't want to go play in that league because I like to play in the trenches and I like to be physical, and that's not how they play football out there. So, you're constantly pushing back against that.
And then similarly, I think that it's safe to say that for the last 20 years, the Pac-10, Pac-12 has been known as a quarterback league. And then this year we're really seeing that.
Right.
I mean, there's sides of it. I got thinking about it. I remember I had this conversation with Georgie, actually, during the Coach Cristobal time, where it was like, okay, this is a big focus, and all these different things. And I just think it's so fascinating. I like the way that you put that, about how we work in a narrative business. And so what the narrative is can really matter. And the fact is that now, for better, worse, otherwise, right, wrong, whatever, this is probably the two most physical teams that match up now this weekend in Oregon and Utah. From a narrative standpoint, from a truth standpoint, I think it's the case.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. Over the last 5 years or so, that these are the two programs that have kind of set the standard in the trenches, in this league, for sure. But, I mean, and then if you're Oregon, you go, hey, we got some amazing skill guys, and look at the job the secondary's doing and the edge guys, building off of last year. There's so many more elements to it than that. You want to be a complete team, and this Oregon team does look like a complete team with the balance on offense and the strength of the defense too. But in some ways, we all have these tiny little pea brains, and we have to keep it simple for ourselves.
Sure.
Particularly for me today, for some reason. So I appreciate it.
Well, here's the simplest thing then. I'm confident in this. If you score more points than the other team, you're going to win the game.
Yeah. It's really as simple as that.
Is that your key to the game this week?
Score more points?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad one.
Yeah, pretty good one.
Sometimes the keys to the game write themselves.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to get consulted to do that for on the Jumbotron or whatever pregame.
Yep.
Like, dominate the running game, don't turn it over, win special teams. It's like, it's this kind of a simple game. Yeah. Like, how do I find a different way to say the same thing every week? Let's not reinvent the wheel here.
Well, it's true. It's true in the broadcast setting too. That's why I love having Georgie, because I can just be like, Georgie?
Yeah.
And then he just goes.
Yeah.
And without fail, his keys to the game involve winning in the trenches.
Right.
The turnover battle.
Yeah.
Running the ball.
Yeah.
Running the ball.
Yeah. Don't make any mistakes on special teams. No breakdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, given the business we're in too, like the fun challenge and sometimes the hard challenge is finding nuance in storylines that can sometimes feel pretty repetitive too. So you have to that's the joy of life though, is like finding the little glimmers of kind of uniqueness and fun and joy amongst the daily rabble.
And coffee.
Can help with that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rob Mosley's with us, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. I did want to bring up, though, you talked about the defense. Like, there's been a lot of new faces, and we said early in the season how the defense would gel as the season went on, I thought was going to be a key.
Sure.
And we've seen some young guys here lately really make an impact, particularly in pass rush. I feel like this has been in a lot of ways, a good example of how in modern college football you can build a top 25 defense, which is what the Ducks are, because you had all those returners on the D-line, for example, that are healthy. Bring in some new guys in the secondary via the transfer portal. Get some pass rushers that are freshmen that are making an impact, and suddenly it's like, wow, you've built a top 25 defense. I think that deserves credit at this point in the season.
For sure, and the way those guys are utilized too. I mean, I think if you look at snap counts and rotations, I mean, the guys in secondary are playing a ton. A guy like Jeff Bosa, he's kind of the brains in the middle there. You want him on the field as much as possible, but even he will come out and all those guys in the front seven will rotate quite a bit. So you don't have to play 60 reps every game. Yeah. It's like even guys who are really established, it's like we want you to play with your hair on fire for 25 reps and do your job and make an impact, and then we'll get you off the field and give you a blow and give another guy a shot. And so there's not too, if you're a Blake Purchase or a Tatum Tuioti, Mateo Uiagalelei, perhaps you feel like, I could be out there more and have a bigger impact too, but like there's no pressure to do that. Just we need you to do this, and we don't need you to go outside yourself. And certainly when you're on the field, again, 110% and give it everything you got. But then there'll be a guy that has your back, and I think mentally and physically, how helpful that must be for those guys, particularly the young guys, to not feel overwhelmed, too much on your shoulders, too much pressure, too much to remember. You got a defined role, go do it, and then get off the field.
Talkie Time Mining's on the Coach's Show tonight.
Oh, nice.
And you talk about a guy who's had the rotation and has had a long career. Just a reminder for everybody. You got me thinking about it with the way that you can rotate on the D-line. They've done that.
For sure. I mean, like he's a guy who if you just watch his highlights, you're like, I want that guy on the field every play.
That's right.
But then Popo would be the same thing, Brandon Dorlus and Jordan Birch, same thing, But then the fact that all those guys can, spell each other, Casey Rogers, Ken Ware-Hudson, all those guys up front, is just huge. And just a lot. You really cut loose. That's a position, I think D tackle in particular, that's a position where sometimes you'll hear about guys, he takes a play off, he can take a play off, he just needs to fill a gap, he just needs to kind of take up space.
Talk about narrative. There you go.
Yeah, totally. But those guys can't do that, and can't afford to do that because they want to be on the field as much as they can. But they don't have to do that because they know there's somebody that can come in and spell them. You can take a play off on the sideline.
That's a good point. Cross country postseason is coming up. Volleyball, a big one against Washington State. Soccer, we're approaching senior weekend, if you can believe that. Women's basketball season starts on Sunday.
Bro,
there will be no shortage of things.
There's a basketball game on Sunday.
Yep.
Whew.
How you doing with that?
Whew. Too soon, but here we go.
Yeah, no, it's not too soon.
Here we go. It's right on time?
It's right on time.
Okay.
It's right on time.
Why not have that attitude?
So the reason that I bring this up, though, like you have so many different sporting events going on this weekend, not to mention some men's tennis news, which we've been telling you about. Quinn Vanek-Castile winning regionals. That's so cool.
Yep.
Congratulations to Quinn Vanek-Castile. GoDucks.com, you only have 5 choices, right, on your front rotation as the editor. So on a weekend like this, take us inside your process. How difficult is it to decide what the 5 are on the front page at any given time?
Usually it sorts itself out. It's
what if they all win?
It's
Everybody wins.
It's a really rare weekend where everybody wins. But obviously football, we want on everybody's minds. And particularly because there's a few tickets still out there for the Cal game next week. So we really want football in the forefront of everybody's minds. And
can confirm Mini Me is going to the game.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
It'll
be his first Big Ten.
My brother is bringing my nephew up. It's going to be his first game in Autzen Stadium too. So some debuts.
Yeah.
A historic game.
The 2:30 kickoff. I thank you to whoever in the conference made that selection. You really helped out the nap schedule.
So I think football we always want to be prominent for that reason. Postseason becomes a tiebreaker. So if cross country wins a title or two, that's obviously going to be something we feature really prominently. Volleyball is on the road, but a ranked matchup against Washington State. With huge, conference and even postseason seeding implications, that's going to be taken under advisement. If soccer breaks through and gets a win, that's something we definitely want to celebrate and trumpet, obviously, because they've been through the ringer a little bit these last few weeks. So, hopefully there are a lot of tough decisions to make, but like I say, so unfortunately, sometimes things tend to kind of sort themselves out a little bit.
Well, women's basketball season starting 4 o'clock. A 3:30 pregame show. Chris Clayton is filling in for Terry Johns. Bev Smith will be back with him. I'm looking forward to it. 4 o'clock back at Matthew Knight Arena for some women's basketball. Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday. There's a basketball game on Sunday, Rob.
Basketball game on Sunday.
I'll see you at Matthew Knight Arena.
Can't wait.
He's Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. Thank you, Rob.
Hey, thank you.
Need caffeine?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
I didn't sleep great last night either. I'm on a roller coaster in my sleep schedule.
What's going on with you?
I just tried to change my routine in terms of bedtime,
You're
waking
changing
up
your
time,
routine during a season?
Yeah, I know.
Good luck.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Godspeed.
It's not working out great.
When we come back, yeah. When we come back, Bo Nix.
He asked.
I did ask.
Yeah.
I did ask.
You can't crack the door open because I'll just barge right through it. It's
True.
some nonsense and stupidity.
The Campbell Trophy finalist,
Yes.
Bo Nix. We're going to hear from him next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Earlier today, told you about the Campbell Trophy finalist announcement for Bo Nix, one of 16 finalists for the Academic Heisman. Well, yesterday, he talked with the media about this matchup with the Utes. Bo Nix, Duck quarterback, breaking down Saturday's 12:30 kickoff.
Dan said on Monday that no one wants the team to have success more than Bucky. Just what makes him who he is and wants so much success for everybody.
Well, I just think his perspective on life and his passion for the game of football is special, and he really cares for the guys around him in the locker room. He makes a point to be close with everybody. He makes a point to go out of his way and speak and hang out with all of us. And he's just a special teammate. He's fun to be around. He's a great locker room guy. He's a great teammate. And then when you put him on the field, not only is he a great player, but he's a great leader as well.
You ever catch yourself being kind of, probably see some of this in practice, but just the things he does in the field, like that cut he made.
Oh yeah, he shocks me all the time. We joke all the time, that I still see new things out of him, every day, almost all the time. And we just have a really special bond. It's cool to be with him for a second year and to really see him, grow and develop in an off season, because we all forget he's still young too. So still got a lot of football ahead of him.
Going back to last year's game, Bo, just how messed up was your ankle going into that one, and what did winning it the way you did with the run at the very end, and you couldn't run all night. What did that game mean, and just how messed up were you?
Well, that game meant a lot, not only to me but the entire team. That was a true team win. It took, all of us. I think the defense is who contributed the most last year. They did a great job stopping the run and creating turnovers last year, and they really helped us out offensively. We were quite limited, and I was banged up, but we found a way to win the game. I think good teams do that.
Is this team Dan was talking a lot of respect for their pass rush. Do they show you a lot of different things pre-snap, or is that something you have to focus on, or is it just their talent that makes them so dynamic in that way?
Well, they do a little bit of both. They have really good players, and then they also do a good job on defense, creating pressure, and so we do have to get our eyes up, be conscious of that, and do a good job getting the ball out.
You see from Fockey and Bishop at safety for them.
Yeah, they do a good job. They're just, I think, very smart, instinctual players that are all over the field. They can do a lot of different things, and so because they can play so many different areas and play in space, that they're, kind of all over the field, and they show up on tape a lot. They do a good job making tackles, stopping the run, and then also covering guys. They're just, all over the film and making plays kind of all over the place.
Probably haven't asked you about Jackson a whole lot this year just because his transition seems to have been so seamless. What's led him to do that? And obviously he's getting a lot of national attention for his play too.
Well, he's he's really smart and knowledgeable of the game, and he has great instincts. He plays extremely hard. He plays with extreme effort. I think that one of the things that he does is he provides an elite grit and tenacity up front, kind of that nasty O-lineman that every team would love to have. And then he takes command of the O-line. He does a good job of communicating, and he's really helped us in that spot this year.
How much does it help to have other veteran guys, but especially Stephen Jones, a right guard, like a Washington? You were talking to him as much as you were talking to Jones.
Yeah. So we have a lot of experience. Even though Josh is the youngest, Josh has played in quite a few games, big important games, and Josh is talented, extremely talented in his own right. So he hangs in there as well as all of us, and so it's good to have the experience. It's good that the guards have played a lot of football, and then Johnny's played a lot himself. So we have a very experienced team, and I think this year we've just shown that we can play together really well.
Ellis has been a game wrecker for them. How important is to kind of know where he is and maybe when he's on and off the field?
Well, it's good. I just think we got to execute and just handle, all 11 of them. I think they all can be disruptive if we let them, and we just got to do a good job in the run game and then get the passing game going.
Talked about how if a team tries to take away Troy and double him, it opens up others and vice versa. How excited do you get when a team goes single high, and just what that means?
Well, that that's good for matchups. If they want to go single high, they're usually loading the box and wanting you to throw the ball. So our matchups do have to show up. We got to find winners and put guys in spots to become winners.
A lot is being talked about nationally, Bo, about sideline signals and what's going on elsewhere. But if you had in-helmet communication like you'll have at the next level, what would that do to you? What would that mean for you in terms of that? How much does that help? How much does it help to have a coach or OC in your ear the whole time?
Well, I don't know, to tell you the truth, because I've never had it, high school or college. So I'm sure it's an adjustment. But regardless of, I guess what you get, you still probably got to go out there, and there's still a lot on you to perform and go out there. And I guess they can't make the throws and run for you. So that's, I think it provides a, different pros and cons that you can worry with, but at the same time, with signals and communication, those provide pros and cons too. So whichever way you choose, it's going to be, beneficial, and then have some negatives.
How meaningful are these touchdowns to Tez and just?
Well, not only just with the brother element, they're special, but I just knowing how he works and knowing how much it means to him, and that's really special. But I think it's special when all those guys catch touchdowns, because I think it's rewarding seeing how hard those guys work and seeing them at practice, running constantly and blocking constantly, and to get a reward like a touchdown, it's really cool, because it's beneficial, and it's rewarding, and it pays off all your hard work. So, but yeah, it is special to see him play well. He also has a lot, to improve on, like we all do, and we're just going to continue to get better and better so that we, can score more touchdowns as a group. Thank y'all.
That's Bo Nix, Duck quarterback, Campbell Trophy finalist. And when we come back, continuing to zero in on this Oregon-Utah matchup, how about another guy, in addition to Taki Taimani, a bit of a homecoming for Jeffrey Bosa, leader on the defense. We're just talking about him. We'll get a timeout and come back and hear from Jeffrey Bosa next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with the Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Go to one of the leaders on defense as we welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Heard from Bo Nix. How about Jeffrey Bosa, a homecoming for a Utah guy who's been pivotal in the middle of Oregon's defense all season long. Jeff Bosa talking about the matchup with the Utes at 12:30 on Saturday.
He's going home for the last time for a game. Mean to you?
It means a lot, just to go out there, go back home, see a lot of family and friends coming to the game, obviously. And then also, just being back home is always, just a good feeling. You know what I mean? Utah also being my second, scholarship offer coming out of high school. So, yeah, just, a lot of love going back home. I'm very excited for this opportunity.
What is this series, as a guy from Utah, what has this series meant to you, Jeff? Because, every time you guys have played, it's been a meaningful game. It's been ranked teams every time, which before you showed up, that was not necessarily the case. What has this series meant to you as a guy from Utah and as a player here for these couple of meetings?
It means a lot. Utah's a hard-nosed team. You know what I mean? A very physical team. And, it's two physical teams going at it every year. You know what I mean? It's not ever going to be, a down year. It's always a tough battle that, a lot of people are always looking up to. Especially with me being from Utah, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like, it's just very exciting, you know what I mean? Being on the other side since I'm, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I'm not from there.
To 21 in particular, that was kind of a homecoming for you to go out there and play in front of family. And obviously the game didn't probably sit great. Is this kind of an opportunity to maybe atone for a little of that?
Yeah. Last time, just like you said, last time I was there, it didn't go out like I wanted it to. But, I'm looking to change that this year. So.
What are your just thoughts on Vaki, safety / running back, and just what makes him so good at that running back spot?
Very good player, very elusive player. With him being able to play as many reps as he does, you know what I mean. Also, with him being able to, be an impact on the defensive side of the ball and then also the offensive side of the ball. Last week having a, tremendous game against SC.
Had to deal with so many injuries. Do you feel like you have a sense for what they're going to try to do offensively, given all the different personnel they've had to move in and out?
Yeah, I think so. I think Coach Whittingham does a good job, with finding the pieces in that program. You know what I mean? Just having those guys in the at the 2 spot and at the 3 spot, just ready to go whenever their time is, ready.
You guys were forced to move somebody over from defense to offense. Who are your top picks there for you guys?
Defense to offense, I'll probably go me. I want to play a little bit of offense, and then let's do Mateo. That's what I'm trying to think of right now. Yeah, me and Mateo. Yeah.
You ordinarily be preparing for Rising. What have you seen from their new guy from Bryson, and just what he's able to do for them? A little bit mobile, certainly gotten more and more accurate as the season's gone on. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, really good quarterback. He's out there, driving and commanding the offense just like he should. Very physical quarterback. Will fight for the extra yards and stuff like that. Puts his body on the line. So, just like Cam would, I think he's been doing a great job leading that offense. They started off the year a little bit slow, but then, he's really got things going for him.
You're certainly pretty excited for Justin on Saturday. What does having him back mean to the linebacker room, but especially in a game like this where they're a team that likes to run between the tackles a whole lot?
Yeah, I think, with just having Justin back, with him being such a inside-the-box linebacker and being able to run sideline to sideline and come downhill, I think the whole linebacker room's excited to have him back. What we've seen in the fall camp and in the spring was, he's ready to play the run. He's ready to strike blocks and get off blocks, just like he showed this past weekend with him, his first game being back. And I'm so excited for this opportunity with him this week.
How did you think Justin played on Saturday against Wazoo?
I think he played really good. With that being his first game back, especially, coming back from, things that he had going on, I think he played a great game.
There's lots being made nationally about some things going on elsewhere about sideline signals and communication and decoding and stealing signs. If you were a green dot at this level, what would that help? How would having that communication help you as the mic at times? And would that allow you to be faster? Do you think the defense would be able to play better if you wouldn't have to look to the sideline all the time, if you were able to communicate because you were having it in the helmet the whole time?
I don't think the signs really play a huge factor, because obviously we don't want to just be looking at their sideline and just cheating the game like that. So that's not something that we're really looking forward to do. I think it's just really film study. I watch a lot of film. So with me being that guy on the defense, communicating, and if I see something, I'm going to tell the defense that I see something. You know what I mean? So it comes down to film study and me being that loud vocal leader like I am.
Jeffrey Bosa, great stuff. And he is becoming a loud vocal leader. We talked with him about that on the Coach Show earlier this year. I think he's really settled into that leadership role, Jeffrey Bosa has. I want to go back to the offense now and hear a little bit from Troy Franklin and Bucky Irving. Troy has, of course, become one of the best receivers, not just in the conference, but in the country. All the statistics that we're looking at, he's going to be up for some big-time awards at the end of the year, leading the conference in multiple categories as a receiver. Troy Franklin's been really good. And he talked with the media yesterday about this matchup with the Utes.
Going back to last year's game, what did it mean to this team? What does it mean as a teammate that Bo did what he did, and played through that one, and with all the uncertainty all week long, even the day of the game?
Yeah, it means a lot. It shows how much he cares, and how much he just loves the game. So yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you see in this Utah defense?
Some of the challenges with their defense. They're all effort guys. They all run to the ball. They send lots of pressures, try to disguise things. So, I'm just trying to identify that stuff. I think we'll have a good chance. But yeah.
You've been one of the most explosive players in the country this year. Your offense has been one of the most explosive offenses in the country. What do you think have been the biggest keys to that?
Just knowing our identity, knowing what we're good at, knowing what we're going to execute, knowing we have the guys to do things. So, and just going out there, being dogs, playing. So, yes, sir.
You mentioned knowing your identity. Can you maybe speak to what you would say that is right now?
I think we're doing a good job of when we know of knowing when we're going to take our shots, and then also taking the check downs. And we're not too greedy. We just play smart. So yeah.
How excited are you when you see single high?
Pretty excited. I know it's a big opportunity for sure. for the outside guys. Definitely how our offense is built, things like that. So yeah.
Significance of this one, and I know obviously you guys have been at Salt Lake before and had some results maybe you didn't want. Kind of what do you have kind of going into this one, and kind of what's the team's mindset?
Just for me, it's just like another game. I think we know that these guys are pretty good. They're another good team. We're just going into it as another game, though. I'm not counting the distractions out there with college game day, all the cameras out there, and then just the tension. So just another game.
What do you remember from the 21 game there, and really that whole week? Because for the receiver room, that was chaotic.
Yeah.
What do you remember of that week and that game?
It just didn't go our way. That's pretty much it.
You had a chance to meet or talk with some of the prominent former receivers around here, Troy, whether Jeff Mail or Sammy Parker or Keenan Howery, some of those guys? Like, you had a chance to, during your career, to meet some of those guys?
No, not really, no.
You're competing for a lot. You're competing for a lot of their records, and could start to break some of them pretty soon. When you get mentioned the sentence of maybe you're the best receiver in program history, what does that mean to you? How do you feel about that?
That's pretty cool. I think when I first came up here, when my plan was to definitely change how the passing game was looked at Oregon. So I think I'm kind of doing that in a way, but most definitely.
He has done that in a lot of ways. Just talking about the records and those names that he's in there with, those records are going to start to fall for Troy Franklin. Individual season, career records. He's been very effective in an Oregon uniform and on track to maybe be an All-American this year. Tobias asking about women's basketball. Any preseason basketball introductions shows that KG, Coach Graves, has done in the past? Not that I'm aware of, Tobias. I think normally they would have done it by now, but they could do it after the exhibition. The exhibition game is sort of the first audition, I think, for a lot of these new faces. So it wouldn't surprise me, actually, if we see some of those types of productions coming up later on in the timeline for women's basketball. But I will ask. I'm not sure. On that note, I said we were going to hear from Bucky Irving. We're going to table that for tomorrow. We're going to get a timeout, come back. I want to look around the rest of Oregon athletics because there's a lot going on this weekend. So stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. That's not a whiteboard hand. That's a whiteboard hand. Thank you, Alex. Actually, can you turn on Alex's mic? Shiloh's running audio for us today. Go ahead and fire up Alex's mic. Alex, would you like to have an on-air rebuttal to anything that our guy Rob Moseley was discussing earlier today?
Nah, when it comes to Mr. Mosley, I think our animosity is well documented. Unfortunately, it's typically one-sided, as my microphone isn't typically hot. I think what Rob said kind of speaks for itself. We're going to take the high road here over on the side desk. We're going to let it just lay out. No further comment at this time, Joey.
I really like that you're in my eye line.
It's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. That's Alex Simpson, everybody. He conveniently located his desk underneath the studio camera so that he can hide when he needs to. You never have to hide, Alex. The reason that you hear from so many Duck football and other student athletes as well is Alex, because he's the one that coordinates all of it. So, Stimson, we appreciate you. Yeah, that's nice. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, always looking at the schedule on a Wednesday. Okay, 7 o'clock, Oregon soccer against Washington on Thursday. 7 o'clock, Oregon volleyball at Washington State on Friday. Friday morning, Pac-12 cross-country championships. Also from Thursday through Saturday, the men's tennis SoCal Intercollegiate Championships are going on. And if you haven't heard and seen anything, shout out to Quinn Vanacasteel winning the ITA Regional this week. That's awesome for Oregon men's tennis. Oregon football, of course, with a 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. Ducks, Utes in Salt Lake City. 10:30 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. It will be televised on Fox. Jerry and Jorgie will have the call. Drew Maringer, Duck tight end coach. I'm talking with him after practice tomorrow, focusing on the tight ends here this week. We'll also zero in with a number of student athletes, including Justin Jacobs. I talked with the now new addition to the Oregon defense that we've seen, and then Jackson Powers Johnson talked with Ryan Milano this week. That's as part of the 10:30 pregame show coming up on Saturday. Continuing into Sunday, Oregon volleyball in Seattle, televised on ESPN at noon. Duck volleyball against the Huskies, and then at 1 o'clock here in Eugene on the secondary Oregon live stream, Oregon soccer against Washington State. And then lastly, women's basketball season is here. Oregon women's basketball against Southern Oregon, 4 o'clock on Sunday. A 3:30 pregame show with Chris Clayton and Bev Smith. I will be there mostly just to hang out with Bev. Bev's the best, and I very much look forward to another year of Oregon women's basketball with Bev Smith on the broadcast. That's the Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, everybody. Alex is Alex. See you tomorrow.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart. Heart